بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. All praise to the one who is holding the skies without any pillars. Peace and blessings upon the one who was sent as mercy to the whole universe. May Allah Azza wa Jal shower His mercy upon all the companions and all those pious people who follow the teachings of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Respected elders and brothers in Islam, how fortunate are we that once again we get together to show our support and to show the world that indeed our iman and our aqidah is the correct one. Respected elders and brothers in Islam, Ibn Hakim narrates that Abdullah ibn Umar radiyallahu ta'ala anhuma was once traveling, and on the way he saw that the people in front had stopped traveling. He inquired as to why have they stopped. He was informed, Asadun ala tariqi qad akhafahum, that those people are scared of a lion which is in the road. Abdullah ibn Umar walks to the lion, holds it from its ear and walks that lion off the road. And he says, وَلَوْ أَنَّ ابْنَ آدَمَ لَمْ يُخَفْ إِلَّا اللَّهِ لَمْ يُسَلَّتْ عَلَيْهِ غَيْرُهُ, that the one that only fears Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, nothing can harm that person. The question which I would want to oppose is that today, if a fly enters into a room, a 6-foot man starts to jump around, that there is a fly in the room. And Abdullah ibn Umar, the most vicious animal in the jungle, holds the ear of the lion and walks it off the road. The question is that why is it that those animals that we are afraid of today, those animals were obedient to those people at that time? Another example, Khalid bin Walid, who is known as Sayfullah, the sword of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, was intending to travel to Persia. The companions informed Khalid bin Walid that do not travel to Persia simply because those people will poison you. Khalid bin Walid asked his companions to bring poison. As poison was presented to Khalid bin Walid, he held the poison in his hand and he recites, Bismillahi khairil asma'i, la yadurru ma ismihi shay, is ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Rabbul ardi wa Rabbis samai. And he takes the poison. As he takes the poison, that poison does not have an effect on Khalid bin Walid. If we try taking poison today, we will not see daylight after hours. But why is it that these people, they took poison, but that poison did not have an effect on them? You hear the companions coming back from the battle of Badr. It was dark in the alleys of Medina, and the companions' sticks changed into torches, and those sticks guided them home. My young brothers and sisters in Islam, the answer to all this is simple. That these people, they had great belief and wholehearted belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And their love for Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was sincere love for Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. This is why those very vicious animals became obedient to these people. This is why poison did not have an effect on these people. My brothers in Islam, their iman was a wholehearted iman in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when they claimed to love Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, they loved Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Not just with their tongues, but their actions were according to the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Now the requirement of today's time, my young brothers in Islam, is that we need to adopt the way of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We claim that we love Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We attend conferences, we go to mahafil, we go to majalises, but as soon as we leave our actions are against the Sunnah of Rasulullah. We are far away from the teachings of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So it's vitally important for us, and the message is what? That we need to revert back to the way of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. As the Quran clearly states that لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ, that the best of example for us to follow is the example of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And this concept, this theory that people say that Islam was spread by sword, my brothers in Islam, if we perfect our character today, if we better our character today, people will look at us and they will decide La ilaha illallah Muhammad. This is why when people looked at Sahaba, Qibla Mufti Sahib was mentioning about Khwaja Gharib Nawaz, 100,000 people looked at the face and recited La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. Sultan Bahu, the doctor smelled the shirt of Sultan Bahu, just the shirt, and he recited Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Why? Because their whole character was sunken in the love of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Just one final thing, explaining that Islam was not spread by the sword, but it was spread by the character of these characters, by these personalities. Once an old woman in Makkah intended to leave Makkah because she was informed that there is a magician that lives in Makkah. Whoever sees him, they leave the religion of their ancestors. So she said, I'm very old, I do not want to leave the mission and the religion of my ancestors. So what she intended to do, she intended to migrate. She gathered her belongings and she gathered them together, waiting for someone to help her carry her belongings to her destination. As she was waiting, a young man walked past and saw an old lady on the side of the road. He inquired as to what she was waiting for. She replied that I am waiting for someone to help me carry my belongings to my destination. Why? Simply because there is a magician living in Makkah. I do not want to leave the religion of my ancestors. This young man smiled, held the belongings on his own head, walked her to her destination. As he walked her to the destination, she said to the man that you are a very young man. When you go back to Makkah, stay away from this man who is called Muhammad. Why? Because you will leave the religion of your ancestors. This young man smiled, and as he was walking out the door, she asked him that, oh young man, I did not ask your name. Masmuk, what is your name? He turned round and said, Ana Muhammad, I am that Muhammad. And there she said, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. And she entered the fold of Islam. This is the way Islam was spread, through character. So the mission and the message from this great platform of Jamaat Ahlesunnat, I will say, my brothers, sunken yourself in the love of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Adopt the character of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And when you adopt the character of Rasulullah, then you will see that success will follow you, inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our gathering. And I would like to congratulate the General Secretary of Jamaat Ahlesunnat, Hazrat Allama Ghulam Rabbani Afghani Sahab, for such a great conference. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you in this world, and all your fellows, all your colleagues who have spent day and night in the success of this conference. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our gathering. And my final supplication is, yahi hai arzu ke taaleem Quran aam ho jaye. Yahi hai arzu ke taaleem Quran aam ho jaye. Har ek parcham se uncha parcham Islam ho jaye. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillah.